The hunger season. It started with the frost. A strange, unnatural frost that swept over the small farming town of Alders Hollow one early autumn night. No one could explain it. Weather reports were normal. No storms were expected. But when the townsfolk woke, the fields were white, brittle, and dead. Corn, wheat, vegetables, all gone. Livestock began dying within days. Chickens pecked at frozen ground. Cows lay unmoving in the stables, and the smell of decay carried on the wind. At first, people thought it was just bad weather. But then came the season. The hunger season. By the third week, food supplies had run low. Neighbors began hoarding. Doors that were once open to friends were locked tight. Every knock was met with suspicion. And then, the sickness came. It was Old Man Harrow who fell ill first. Folks said he went out at night, searching for scraps, wandering too far into the woods. When they found him, he was crouched beside a dead deer, tearing into its flesh with his bare teeth. We had nailed the doors shut, boarded the windows. My father had a shotgun. My mother sat in the corner holding my little sister. We heard them in the yard, footsteps crunching in the frost, then scratching. The sound grew louder, scraping, clawing, until it was at every wall, every window. And then, the moaning began. Low at first, then rising, not from pain, not from fear, but from hunger. It was like listening to starving wolves outside your door. Only these wolves knew your name. We survived that night, but only barely. Others weren't so lucky. The Wilsons, gone. The Clark family, they locked themselves inside the church, thinking God would protect them. By morning, the stained glass windows were smeared red. Weeks passed. The town was gone. The hunger season had swallowed it whole. The eaters, as we began to call them, weren't rotting like the zombies from the movies. No. They were faster now, stronger. They learned to work together. They would wait for hours in silence just to catch someone stepping outside for water. And the worst part? When they ate you, you became one of them. By the second month, my father was gone. He went out to hunt, swore he'd be back before dusk. He never came home. We found his shotgun a mile away, lying in the frost, empty shells scattered around it. I didn't want to think about what happened, but deep down, I knew. My mother kept us alive for as long as she could. We rationed canned food, boiled snow for water. But hunger has a way of changing people, even the ones you love. I woke one night to find her standing over my bed, hands shaking, her breath heavy. Her eyes weren't hers anymore. I ran. I don't know if she followed me. I never looked back. By then, Alders Hollow was silent. No birds, no wind, just the crunch of frost under my boots and the distant groan of the eaters. I stuck to the woods, moving only at night. The stars felt colder than they had ever been. And then, I saw the city. It wasn't far, just past the hills. Lights still flickered in some buildings. Smoke curled from chimneys. Civilization, safety. Or so I thought. I reached the outskirts at dawn. People were still alive there, but they weren't people anymore. They moved in packs. Some wore tattered coats, others blood-stained uniforms. And all of them were feasting, not scavenging, feasting. I watched as a man dragged another screaming figure into the street. Others joined in, tearing him apart before the scream even died. And then they all looked up, at me. I ran. I don't know how long. My legs felt like lead, my lungs burned, but the sound of their pursuit never faded. And then I realized. The hunger season wasn't just in Alders Hollow. It was everywhere. I don't know how it began. Maybe it was the frost. Maybe something older, darker, had been waiting beneath the earth for the cold to wake it. All I know is, there's no safe place now. I've been running for weeks. Every night the moans get closer. Every day the frost spreads further. And I can feel it in my stomach. The ache, the hunger. I don't have much time before I join them. Before I start hunting too. And when I do, you'd better pray the hunger season never reaches you. Fade out, distant moans, slow crunching of frost under approaching footsteps. The sheriff tried to restrain him, but Harrow bit him, deep, right in the arm. By morning, both men were gone. Soon after, more cases appeared. It wasn't a slow sickness. It was fast. A man could be laughing with his family at dinner, then go pale, trembling, and start tearing into whatever meat he could find, cooked or raw, fresh or rotting. And when there was no meat, they came for people. It was the smell that gave them away. Not the stench of rot, though that came later, but the scent of desperation. They would drool, gnash their teeth, eyes sunken but burning with hunger. And once they saw you, they would not stop. No one called them zombies, not at first. They were still alive, hearts still beating. But there was no humanity in them anymore, just hunger, endless, relentless hunger. I remember the first night they came for our house.